Hello, Mark. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good too, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview you, Mark.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you very much. So, friends, we have one of the pioneers in the field of hypnotherapy. So, Mark is multiple award-winning and internationally renowned clinical hypnotherapist. He has trained practitioners worldwide in his groundbreaking methods. Through this and his own practice, he has helped to improve the lives of tens of thousands of people in countries ranging from the United States to Australia and New Zealand. Mark is the author of three books, an executive contributor to BRAINZ Magazine, and regularly tours the world contributing ideas to the development of hypnotherapy practice. His passion and drive is assisting people to overcome the overwhelming and live with more confident joy and happiness. In his spare time, he entertains audience at historical events with the number one comedy hypnosis show in the old world, Master TikTok's Time Machine. Mark can be contacted at mdhealingartistry.com. So, friends, I am going to make the website address and other social media links of Mark in the YouTube description. If anyone wants to reach out to Mark, you can. So, getting back to Mark. So, Mark, what attracted towards hypnosis that you ended up landing into full time hypnotherapist?
Well, actually, it was kind of by accident how I landed it. You know, I I've heard this said so many times by other hypnotists that it kind of finds you. I mean, I don't know if that's how it worked for you, but for me, it just kind of found me. I wasn't actively seeking to be a hypnotherapist. Um, I was actually working in recreational therapy at a nursing home with the elderly for many years. I had kind of gotten to a point where I needed a shift, I needed a change. Loved what I did, but needed a change. And so I started researching different educational opportunities. And I got contacted by the school I ended up going to. I actually honestly do not remember contacting them at all. And so they contacted me, and I went in for an open house to talk with the founder of the school to find out what it was all about. When I first was contacted by them, I honestly didn't know what they did. I just figured I was in the area, I'd drop by and find out what they were all about. And it was one of those kismet serendipitous moments when I got to the school, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I mean, you know how our subconscious mind works. It can just pull that memory up. And I remember walking through the front door of this school, and my everything in my being, everything in my subconscious mind said, "Yep, this is it."
Um,
And I remember thinking, "What do you mean this is it? I don't even know what they teach here." But something within me just knew that this is where I needed to be. And I sat down and talked with the founder of the school and found out that they worked with therapeutic coaching, NLP, HNLP, which for your viewers is neurolinguistics programming and humanistic neurolinguistic psychology, and also hypnosis. And I thought, wow, that sounds fascinating. That sounds interesting. And 3 days later, I was signed up and I was enrolled in school.
okay.
Literally, that is how it happened. And it's kind of been a whirlwind moving forward in this profession ever since. And it was totally one of those things where this is, when you know this is what you're supposed to do, that's what it feels like. So that's kind of how I got started in it, kind of by accident. It literally drew me to it.
Lovely accident, I should say.
Absolutely a lovely accident.
Yes. Okay. So here now you become certified hypnotist and then you go back to offer your services. Just tell me honestly, how was your experience with your initial first client or initial clients? Did you believe that this works or like what happened?
Um, I think my very first client, I was scared out of my mind. I'm
Okay.
going, I know personally that this works.
Okay.
I know what this can do to change lives, but oh my gosh, I'm actually being thrown in. I'm actually doing this with a real live person. And luckily
Yes.
with my training, we had to work with people during things for practitioner and things like that. And also we also had to experience everything ourselves from a client perspective as well. So I got all of it. So I knew it worked. But then when you get to that actual person, it's like, oh my God, I have the training, I have the knowledge, I have the know-how, I'm still scared. But you know what? Somehow your subconscious mind, it just kicks in and you unconsciously know what to do. And it's just through that diving into the deep end of the pool and giving people what they need and listening and trusting your training, trusting your subconscious mind, and really learning along the way, because things develop and things change, and your own style as a practitioner changes too over the years, and you learn how to really help people on a better level too. So yeah, scary, but
Yes.
you do it and you learn. And really, I don't know if you find this for yourself, but don't you think that, at least I think this, hypnosis, you can read about it and you can study it, but until you actually do it, you don't know it. You have
Yes.
it's you have to practice it. You have to do it.
Awesome. Thank you for your honest answer, Mark, because people have this thing that from always one should be perfect. The perfection, until I am perfect, I will not start. Unless
Yeah,
you start, you don't reach that mastery level. So there is this contradiction.
exactly. Just start it, put it out there, and you can perfect along the way.
Excellent, excellent. So, Mark, let's go around some of the myths around hypnosis.
Awesome.
Okay. So, is hypnotherapy an alternative for medical interventions? Like, I've seen people like, okay, just heal this, heal that, heal this. So, please, such
Right?
few advertisements.
I don't think it is an alternative. I think it's a complementary to those
Complementary.
other things.
One.
That's what I think, anyways. My clients who do really, really well, they are still working with their traditional doctors, and they're still working with their nurses. They're still working with their their different therapists that they've had for a while. So really, I feel that my job is to come in and offer them something different, an alternative that maybe they didn't know about this option before.
Okay.
And I mean, those things specialize in things that I can't do. I can't heal a broken bone. I can help you with your mindset to help that go easier and better, but I can't set that bone in a cast. Likewise with major surgeries and things like that. So hypnosis and coaching is not something that you should do in place of those things. However, there's a lot that hypnosis and coaching can do to aid those things. And with what I work with a lot of people who are really overwhelmed. They're dealing with a lot of anxiety or depression or things like that. That's what I work with. And clients who work with me on those things, they find a lot of relief with hypnosis. And a lot of them have done the medication route. They have done the therapy route, which is wonderful. It all has its time and place. But if you can do something that's natural and gain relief with it, then why not do it in conjunction with, or just do it as a standalone too? So I like how it all kind of can balance everything else out too.
Well, Mark, since you're award-winning, renowned
Oh,
hypnotherapist,
I'm
can
just
you
me.
can you use your hypnosis and help me grow my hair?
If I could do that, I would have my hair all, I would have luscious locks down to the floor if I could do that.
Amazing. Mark,
Don't you wish?
yes, I'm bringing the element of humor here, yet the questions I'm asking is behalf of so many people who have that go to hypnotherapist and they can do anything that is being requested, else
Mhm.
he or she is not a good hypnotherapist.
Right.
So that is the reason I'm just bringing, though it might have some element of humor, but I mean it. What I'm asking, Mark, so many people have this myths that anything can be possible and just they can heal anything, they can do
Yeah.
anything. Okay, let's do this again. I have seen that hypnotherapy helps in weight loss.
Mhm.
Yes, I do agree, but what exactly happens? Like just by going to hypnotherapist, what happens, Mark? What, does one stops overeating, or like some might have weight issues due to different issues? Yet it is proven that so many people got immensely benefited by the use of hypnotherapy in weight loss. How is that possible? What is science behind it?
Absolutely. It is all mindset. I'm definitely not the expert to ask on weight loss because I personally don't specialize in that.
Okay.
If you want to do weight loss, I would talk to Sheila Granger. She's amazing. She developed the hypnotic gastric band, which
Okay.
has amazing, amazing scientific studies behind it. Um, but I think, like anything, you
Mhm.
know, as hypnotherapists, it's not magic words. It's not something magical and mystical. So, in other words, if someone wanted to lose weight, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter so much what I say to them as a hypnotist.
Okay.
It
Okay.
matters what they say to
Yeah.
themselves.
Oh.
So, in other words, for example, I had a really good friend of mine who wanted to lose some weight, and she knew that her big hang up was chocolate and sugar. She knew that. She's like, I could diet to the cows come home, but it's the chocolate and the sugar that always hangs me up. Now, she wanted to not crave those things. And she really believed that hypnosis could help her curb those cravings. And so I did do a few sessions with her on that, and she kicked that craving like that. In fact, I even tested her about a week or so later, and I gave her some chocolate, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it tastes like I'm eating a mouthful of salt. It's
Oh.
not even good." But that all comes down to, like with anything we do, it's, do you want it? Are you willing to go through the process? Are you willing to believe in yourself enough that you have the ability to gain what you want through this modality? So I think that's really how the weight loss happens for people, and the smoking happens for people, and really any positive change happens for people.
Awesome. Awesome. And Mark, could you please share some of the experiences where you have used hypnosis on yourself,
Sure,
and
absolutely.
some experiences that you have experienced?
Absolutely. One of the things that I like to do quite often is before bed. I usually I'll write down like maybe, I don't know, a handful of things of what I'm grateful for that day, because it really sets us up for that mindset of this is what you have accomplished today. This is what it has been good about today, to really set you up for the next day to gain some more of that good stuff. And just take a few minutes. I've done this. Just take a few minutes before bed and just visualize or even talk about how you want tomorrow to go. It's been proven that when we do those visualizations and when we manifest and talk, those things that we want start rolling into our experience, because that reticulating activating system, that RAS, that filter in our mind, starts opening up and pulling into our present awareness everything that's going to be a match to those good things that we want. Here's a good example for you. So a few years ago, I tested this. I was going through a real dry spell in clients, and you know what? We all go through dry spells with clients. Unfortunately, it just happens. So if you're going through a dry spell and you don't have as many clients as you want, don't worry. That wheel will turn. You'll get them back. It's fine. but I was going through a dry spell with clients. And so I said, you know what, let's put my power of my mind and my energy to work here. And so every day when I would get up, I would do my normal morning routine. I would get in the shower. And as I was showering, and I had hair at that time, I, I was washing my hair. And what I would do is either out loud or mentally in my mind, I would talk about the clients that I was attracting. I would talk about the ideal clients, what they were like. And I kept saying over and over and over again, by the end of this month, I'm going to have a minimum of 4 brand new clients who are X, Y, and Z. And I did this every single day. And by the end of the month, I didn't get 4 new clients. I got 24 new clients.
Wow.
And I didn't do anything differently with my advertising or my marketing. All of that stayed the same. The only difference was my mindset and the story I kept telling. That was the difference. And I think that's one thing that I really personally try to impart to my clients is if you want to change your life, you have to change the story.
And the story.
You can't live both lives of the person who has all the anxiety and the person who's living with joy. They don't live together.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you for sharing your experience, Mark. It was
Absolutely, yeah.
awesome. And Mark, you have something, a program called Master Your Money Mindset. So,
Yes.
so that means whoever just by plugging in some hypnotic audio, one becomes millionaire or a billionaire. Is that so?
Gosh, if that were true, I would be. I'd be a billionaire with hair. Um, no, it's not like that. As you know, anything that we have in life, we have to work for. We have to work for, but behind that effort that we need to put in and behind those opportunities that are coming our way, we need to have that mindset behind it. Because if we don't have the mindset behind it, that house that we're trying to build is just going to crumble and fall down. We need a good foundation. So it's that mindset that sets us up for that success. So in my money mindset program, for example, it really gets your mindset in gear for attracting those opportunities, for taking action on those opportunities, for noticing what your limitations about money are, because a lot of us have a lot of money mindset limiting beliefs
Yes.
that keep us held back. So what I do with clients is I help them to recognize what those limiting beliefs are and again rewrite that story so that they can change how they want to view money. So for example, instead of going to the mailbox and going, oh my gosh, another bill, another thing that I have to pay out, say, you know what, I have the money to do this. I'm fortunate that I have this opportunity to show myself that I can change this event in my life. For every dollar that I spend, I am mentally getting $5 more back. So it's changing the way you view what used to be that roadblock, that limit, so that you can turn it into an opportunity for better growth and better success. Just like when I was talking about, by the end of the month, I'm going to get 4 new clients.
Yes.
That was a 5, sorry, 4 new clients. And then it just doubled and tripled. So it's really reworking that mindset, bringing that success.
Wow. Thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so overcoming the overwhelming. What is
Yeah.
this program all about? I
So
love the word overwhelming because I'm overwhelmed about relationship, office, boss, work, as
yeah,
future path.
so
So please
much.
tell me about the program.
Yeah, we are bombarded with so
Yes.
much in our lives, and there's so much hanging on to us that we've also carried with us from childhood. And
Oh,
there's so much that we've carried with us from our parents and generationally. So it's not just our current stuff that we're dealing with. And so people get into that mindset, and I think of it like this. It's almost like you're at the, I don't know if you get snow where you're at, but we get a lot of snow here in
No, no,
Wisconsin.
yeah, yeah,
No snow. Oh, you're lucky. I need to visit you. I
yeah.
need warm weather in my life right now. So in Wisconsin, we get a lot of snow, and anyone who's around snow knows that if you have a snowball, a ball made out of snow, and if you were on the top of a hill, you could have that snowball, which fits in your hand, and you could easily throw it away. You could crush it up into powder. You could get rid of it pretty easy. But if you were to drop that snowball and it started rolling down the hill, it would pick up more snow and it would get bigger
Yes.
and bigger and bigger and bigger. It would go faster and faster and faster until all of a sudden it just hit something.
Oh,
That's kind of what it's like to be overwhelmed. We've dropped the ball and now it's gotten away from us and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if we run ahead of it to try to stop it, we're going to be smashed if we can even get to that point. Or we're just watching it run amok and it runs amok in our life. And then what happens? We get anxiety. We get that thinking problem called anxiety. And we start fearing what could go wrong in the future. And it just layers on top of each other, right? So, what my program helps people to really do is to systematically observe all of those different layers of those different emotions that contribute to that problem and stop that snowball from ever rolling down that hill so that they can look at whatever it is in their life that's overwhelming and decide, well, I don't need it anymore. I can get rid of it. I can crush it. I can walk away from it. Or what happens for a lot of people, which is wonderful, is what will happen is a lot of the times life happens and something will trigger them that normally used to bother them or overwhelm them before. And what happens is a lot of times they don't even notice it anymore. Or several days later, they'll go, huh, you know what? Such and such happened a few days ago. And I just realized now that it happened. And I didn't even react the same way. It was fine. It was no big thing because their perception has completely changed. And when you can see something differently, it's not a problem anymore, is it? It's completely
yes.
different.
Okay.
So you don't have to react to it in the same overwhelming way. And then you don't have to have that anxious feeling and that anxiety that rolls around it. You can handle it, and so that's kind of how that program works.
So, Mark, just I'm again bringing a little humor here.
Good, I
Since
love
you,
humor.
you, you took example of snowball. Oh my God. So do you mean, Mark, that you're comparing me with a snowball? So what I'm trying to ask is, no matter what the other person's intention is, some people always have this temperamental issues and communication issues. Like, yes, oh, you mean I'm a snowball? So you mean that I'm gathering
Right.
the ball? So you mean this? And then like, yes, I know you are talking about this victim mindset. No, they are always, they don't like me. Either communication issues or temperamental issues are born out of this type of victim mindset. So
Yeah,
does hypnotherapy help in changing the self-image, deal with temperamental issues and communication issues born out of this type of victim mindset, Mark?
absolutely. Absolutely, it can. Um, Again, with the caveat of if you want it,
If you want
if
it.
you want it, if you want to continue being a victim, by all means, fight for your limitations. But if you don't want to live that way any longer and you want to be happier and live with more joy, then you can have that if you choose to as well. And it all really to me goes back to how do you want to view yourself?
Okay.
What do you want for your own life? Some people do get secondary gain from
Mm,
that victim role.
mm,
They're gaining something from that's serving them, because I'm a firm believer that our problems always have some good intention for us. Otherwise, we'd get rid of them. We wouldn't have them.
Yes.
And when we can find out what those good intentions are, those golden nuggets of truth are for us, then that problem can shift. It can change. It can let go. And when that happens, our inner being naturally rises. And when our vibration rises higher, then everything else has to change around us. It has to. It can't stay the same. Otherwise, it naturally falls away. Because if you're observing yourself differently and you're feeling about things differently on the inside and no longer feeling like that victim, then how can you observe anything else in your world through those victim eyes anymore? That has to shift and change,
Yes.
or it goes. So, I have worked with a lot of people. I work with a lot of people who are very angry, who are very sad, who are very anxious people, and a lot of them have been self-proclaimed victims. And, I have, I'm a very caring, loving person, but I don't blow smoke up people's bums. And I'm not here to tell them what they want to hear necessarily. I'm here to tell them and give them what they need along with what they want. And so, in that being said, what ends up happening is if they are self-proclaimed victims, then if they want to change, they can change. But they know up front for me that I'm not going to listen to that victim mentality. If they want to play that card, go do that with someone else. Don't waste our time. But if you really want to change, let's do it.
Wow. And Mark, in the book Psycho-Cybernetics, the author is a surgeon, and he finds out that even after plastic surgery, people still carry the old image, and then he emphasizes on changing the self-image. I've seen people like, my teeth are not good, so let me laugh like this, or like they don't like specific part of their body, and they have this. Uh, either this was formed due to someone else's body shaming, or they have developed this. I'm short, I'm fat, I'm thin, or like my ears are not good. There's that. They have this low confidence and not being able to accept themselves. It could be anything related to body,
Yeah.
could be color, could be height, could be weight, could be anything or specific body part, and they live that life for almost, if they don't find out help, maybe lifelong. So does
Absolutely.
hypnotherapy help in not changing? I agree, but
Yeah.
acceptance part.
I believe it does. I believe it can.
Mhm.
Because really when you look at any of those types of issues, they really at their core are just limiting beliefs.
Okay, okay.
They're just limiting, in my opinion, they're just limiting beliefs. And so when we can understand the root cause of where those limiting beliefs originated from and find out, okay, are they my beliefs or are they someone else's beliefs? And when the person is feeling more empowered, then they have that my goal is to help people realize that they have choice.
Okay.
So often in life, people forget that they can choose who they want to be and how they want to feel and how they want to think. And so when people can understand that they do have choice and they can think about themselves differently, then they can start that shift to happen so that they can really accept themselves in more of a way. And really, I think when you look at a lot of issues for people, I have found that probably, I mean, I can't say 100% because nothing's 100%, but pretty close. I have found that most of my clients, when it really comes down to it, and you look at the underlying thing, that
Mhm.
when the presenting issues, and for me, presenting issues can be almost anything, but when the things that those are usually those things that people come to us for, those are all presenting issues of a deeper issue. And once that deeper issue has been healed and released and changed, then those side effects, those presenting issues generally begin to shift all on their own. And what I found that for most people, that underlying core issue is simply that they don't love themselves. They don't love themselves. And a lot of people don't even like themselves. So when we can get a client to that point of liking themselves, accepting themselves, loving themselves, then it's amazing what a transformation that they can really truly do for themselves.
Hey, that's awesome. Mark, as you brought this limiting beliefs topic, so I also come across this presenting issue, like you said,
Yeah.
a limiting belief supported with lot of stories attached. I'm born in a wrong country. I'm born in a wrong religion. I'm born as a wrong gender. If I was born as a woman or a man or in a XYZ country or in
Yeah.
XYZ family, then I would have been successful.
Hmm.
Because of this country, this currency, this gender, this family members, this environment, I'm not successful. So I'm not responsible, or like that's the reason I'm not successful. So such kind of limiting beliefs and stories. What is the role of hypnotherapy in bringing the shift in such mindset?
Yeah. You know, really all of those different things are excuses. Sorry, they're excuses. And let's call a spade a spade. They are excuses. And again, it's just the story that we're telling. And really it's self-sabotage. It's self-sabotage because it's setting the person up really to fail.
Okay.
Because listen to all those stories. In a lot of the instances, it's just that they don't have belief in themselves. They don't have that self-love in themselves to believe that they can do it. Because think about how many people were born to almost identical situations as said person who
Yes.
aren't in the same place as said person and they are being successful.
Maybe by luck.
Oh, maybe. And you know what? Maybe they did get lucky and maybe they did get opportunity. But the difference is their mindset was open enough to receive that opportunity and accept that opportunity, I think.
Okay.
So,
Because
and I think,
lucky, they are successful. Successful people means they are lucky. I'm not successful because I'm not lucky. Because I'm again, the story runs in a
it,
loop and loop and loop.
it's that loop. Yeah. Yeah, and I think our role as coaches and hypnotherapists really is to help a person see that loop
Okay.
and break the loop, because that loop can become a chain and that chain can become bondage for a person and hold them back and hold them down.
Loop, chain, and bondage.
Hmm.
That's where the resistance is born, I guess, right, man? To let
I
go
think
the
it could
bondage.
be.
It could be.
I think it could be. Who knows?
Who knows? Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the books that you have authored. Irene.
Irene, yeah.
So first tell
So,
me, what motivated you to write this book?
actually, it was a labor of love, and my motivation was actually my mom. So Irene is my grandmother. I never knew her. She died when my mom was 5 years old,
Oh,
and she was. And what was fascinating about it was she wrote a memoir, an account of her life dealing with the polio epidemic in the 1950s. We had a huge polio epidemic, and it was amazing how much it really mirrored what was going on in the world these days with the pandemic that we've got going on. And what was wonderful about her book, and what was really interesting too, is how she wrote it. After she got out of the iron lung and the breathing machines in the ward, she was pretty crippled in a lot of her limbs. And how she wrote it was she had a pencil and she had a typewriter. And what she would do is she would hold the pencil in her crippled hand and
Oh
she
my
would put
God.
the pencil over the key of the typewriter, and with her other hand and her chin, she would press down key by key by key, and that's how she wrote her manuscript.
Wow.
And yeah, and what I really love most about her book is the resilience. And I think what we do as coaches and hypnotherapists is we try to impart to the people that we work with their own natural resilience, that if they put their mind to it, they can really accomplish amazing things. If you don't want to accept something the way it is and you want to change something, you have the ability to do whatever you need to do to change those things for yourself. And so what I did was I took her original manuscript, which was over 60 years old, and I transcribed the whole thing and put it into the book form, and took all of her scrapbooks with photos and things, and put it all in this book form to really allow my grandmother's work to actually be finished, because she never got a chance to publish it. And I love that it's out there now, not only for my family, but for anyone who wants to read her story, because it's so inspiring. Because the message really is of appreciate every day, appreciate who you are, appreciate what you can do, instead of looking at the limitations. What can you do? You know, I may have a crippled up hand and body, but I can still write a book.
Wow.
So that's what Iron Irene is about.
Such an inspiration, and thanks for sharing about your grandmother's story. And
Yes,
thanks
absolutely.
for
Thank you for
bringing that
asking.
manuscript into the book form. Thanks for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. And next is I love Ho'oponopono, Mark.
I
It
do as well.
really it I should say I have experienced so much shift, especially with regards to relationship and so much. The application goes wide. But what is this hypnotic Ho'oponopono?
Yeah. So it's the one major word that most people can't say. Everyone's like, how do you pronounce that? Um, but so I learned Ho'oponopono years ago when I was in school, and it was that prayer of, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, I love you, and I loved it. I loved the application of it, and over the years, I got to thinking, this can really be used in a much deeper context. And so I started tweaking it and playing around with it and adding NLP pieces and a bunch of different things and working with it with clients. And the idea behind it really is, the word actually means to make right, to make double right. And I think as practitioners, that really is our goal, to help a client make things so right, so doubly right, that it really, really helps them and helps them for a lifetime. And so what this helps a client to do is put a voice,
Mhm.
maybe where they've never even had a voice before. In instance, for example, I've used this and I've had other practitioners use this who have said, we've used this from anything from nail biting to smoking to deep-seated, traumas with people, and it's worked where nothing else has worked. Um, and so it really takes the principles and the concepts of the traditional Ho'oponopono and embeds it in a whole new layer of deep hypnosis or even conversational hypnosis with NLP structures mixed in, so a person can really have a major transformational shift very, very quickly.
Beautiful. You
Yeah.
are a hypnoscientist,
What's that?
experimenting it. I said you are a hypnoscientist.
Oh, thanks. I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. So, strategy elicitation has been a very interesting work with NLP part. The all-purpose elicitation strategy. What is this all about, Mark?
Yeah. So I use this a lot when, you know, as new hypnotherapists will
Yes.
soon discover, We don't always get those somnambulistic clients. We don't always get those clients who go right into trance. Sometimes we get those analytical clients, and analytical clients are fine. They're great, but they really are kind of the scary clients in a way, for especially for a lot of new hypnotists. Um, and so what I like about this process is it really helps those analytical clients ease into hypnosis, to ease into coaching, and it breaks everything up in a very easy way for them to be able to see right in front of their faces all of this information, this information, this information, this information, and so they can track things. And I don't know how many times I have heard clients say, oh my gosh, I finally understand. It makes complete sense now once you chart everything out that way. And so what we do with this is we go through the problem, we go through what they want. But what I really particularly like about this piece is that what it does is it really, there's a part in there where we talk about all of their different resources, and I make them list out internal resources and external resources. So internal can be anything from sense of humor, bravery, courage, determination, love, whatever. External can be anything that supports them gaining and maintaining their outcome that they want. So that could be a loved one, that could be an organization, it can be whatever it is outside of themselves. And so what I really particularly like about this is it really helps people maybe for the first time go, wow, I have at least 10 things in my life right now that I can rely on that support me, that will support me in getting this goal, and that I know if I fall short, that these things will pick me back up and help move me forward. Because sometimes we get clients that are like, I've got no one to support me, I've got nothing good going on in my life. And this really forces them to go, no, you're right, I do actually have these things that support all of this stuff. Yeah, so it really helps a lot of people, but especially those analytical people, be able to understand what's kind of happening on the inside.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. So, Mark, now I have till now I have asked questions for general public perspective, people who have misconception. Now, my further question is about therapists who are already certified hypnotists or clinical hypnotherapists. Doesn't matter which school, different schools, different school of thoughts.
Exactly.
After being certified and after working with clients for a certain period, there are some specific challenges. Oh my God, this what I learned in 5-day course or a 5 months course doesn't matter. But when they are actually with the client, after seeing some half a dozen clients or whatsoever, now comes the real time challenges. So for such people, do you offer any kind of services of mentoring or offering any programs like that, Mark?
Yeah, over the years, I have talked with many different practitioners over the
Mhm.
years, and I've shared. All I can do is share how I do things.
Yeah.
And it's everyone does everything differently, and you've got to find what works for you, and with your style and your personality. So all I can do is share what works with me. And I have worked with practitioners who are just starting out. I love working with people who are just starting out, and I've worked with people who have been in the business a while too, with different questions and advice and things like that. I really like brainstorming with people and seeing what works and what doesn't work. I don't know if you've experienced this, and you probably have, but I really personally think, from my own experience, hip, our industry as hypnotists is one of the most giving industries out there. People are so willing to offer information and help and assistance. If you have any kind of question, you can just go on a forum or go on a chat room or get connected like you and I have gotten connected,
Yes, yes.
and figure things out about what works, what doesn't work, and try this, try that. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to have our network. And I think when I give to other practitioners, I feel like I'm giving back like I was given to when I was first starting out as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And my last question. I promise this is last question.
Wow, this
I'll
went
give
so
you
quick.
and what keeps you so grounded and humble despite having so many award winning? So because the reason I'm asking, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
There was at least I had this misconception personally. Let me honestly tell that the more success a person has, the more arrogant one could be. This was like a decade ago, limiting belief or assumption that after
Yeah.
meeting so many experts, it was a myth really. And what keeps you so grounded and humble, Mark?
A lot of liquor and booze. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Maybe,
totally kidding.
maybe.
Maybe a little bit. Um, um, it's really, I think what it does it for me is just staying grounded in purpose. Staying grounded in purpose. And, for me, I've never set out to be the best. I've never set out to be rich and famous, although that's fine if I have money, that just helps me help more people. But really, it is that mindset of the more money I have, it does help me help more people. And so it does help me to strive for success. Um, but really, my success comes from when I hear from my clients, oh my gosh, my life has completely changed. Oh my gosh, I haven't left my bedroom in 3 years, and now I'm out with my family enjoying life and I'm traveling again. Those are my successes, and that's where I feel successful in life. So it really is about staying present and focused on mission and on purpose.
Wonderful.
Because I think that if you're meant to do something and this is what you're supposed to do, how can you fail? And if this is what you're supposed to do, it's only going to incrementally grow and grow and grow and get better. And therefore, success. And success is objective. It's different to everyone. So that's kind of how I stay humble and think about success, I guess. And also being grounded in, family and friends and loved ones and balance. I've seen so many, sorry, I'm rambling, but I've seen so many um or heard of so many people who just get burned out. And that's one thing that they don't teach you in hypnosis school is that you will get burned out, you will get tired, you will get exhausted, you will have all kinds of stresses and difficulties because a lot of times we're taught amazing processes and techniques with what we do in a practice, but we don't have the business side of things, or we don't have the balance side of things between work and family. So it's really learning, it's been a learned process of learning that balance between life and family and business, and just keeping those priorities in order and staying focused to the mission of helping people, because that's why I do what I do.
Wonderful. Mark, it was lovely conversation with you,
It
and
was. This was wonderful. Thank you.
thank you very much for patiently answering all those questions, including can you help me grow my hair? It was like so all such misconceptions and so many things and scary things I get to see in day-to-day conversations with various people. It was a nice conversation, and I hope many people get benefited and get a chance to know more about what hypnotherapy is and what hypnotherapy is not.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
thank you very much, Mark, once again.
Thank you once again. I so appreciate your time and talking with me tonight.
Thank you, Mark.